Whenever I get on the water, that's the rig that I use first. It's sort of like my go anywhere rig, pretty simple really to tie. I'm a great believer in keeping things simple. I don't see the point in making things more complicated than it needs to be. Basically it's just like a size 8 wide gape, 15-pound end trap and a little bit of shrink tube on there. If I was to use one hook forever, it'd be a size 8 wide gape, but I've caught fish out even out of really weedy waters and like, you know, where you have to proper give them some. Basically let's pull out a little bit of end trap that's 15, about say 10 inches long. Then what I do is strip back around about 4 inches or so and form yourself a little loop, which is your air, so you've got something for your air stop to go on to. Just do a normal knotless knot, so going back through the back of the hook, pull it down so that I make my air the right sort of size. I mean generally like on here I tend to use sort of 10 mils or chop down 15 mil. I don't like to have a too longer air, so I do it more or less to do a 10 mil boiler, and then I'll whip up the shank like sort of 6 or 7 times. Then what I do is roughly measure out the length of the rig that I want. Usually, you know, sort of I fish this rig between sort of 6 and 8 inches long, depending on where I'm fishing. Like obviously sometimes like when you're fishing for really big fish or fishing over a bit of bottom debris or so, you go a little bit longer, but as a general rule like sort of 6-7 inches. 7 inches is sound for this rig. So then what I do is strip the rest of the coating off. Then I form a loop at the other end, which just another overhand knot sort of on the loop, but a little bit bigger than the one for the air. Then you're left with another loop at the other end. It just gives it a little bit more movement, but the main part of the rig is with the coating, which actually sort of makes the rig sit nice and not tangle, not land in a heap. I mean, I tend to use a little bit of dissolving PVA foam when I cast out. This sort of keeps everything straight, and then with it being slow sinking, it just slowly pushes away and sits nice away from the lead. I find that them little bits, the little differences like that can catch you extra fish. That's why I fish this rig critically balanced. The next bit I'll do is put a little bit of shrink tube on there. Because I'm fishing over silt, I've just got the silt one in small. I think the trick I've found with that is not to go too long. I think sometimes I can go a little bit long with that. I noticed like when I was fishing down at Orton a long time ago that like when I checked one of the magazine features I'd done, the rig that I was catching my fish on was had a shorter bit of shrink tubing on to the bit that I was using at the time, and I changed it. I made it a little bit shorter, and I caught a fish straight away. And I think like sometimes when the shrink tube is a little bit too long, it can reduce the gape of the hook. And I mean, I think like I say, just using a small bit seems to work for me. Shrank it down 45 degrees, a little bit, not too long, like I say. A little bit of the coatings took off there, like just about 10 mil in the end. I put a little split shot underneath that because I like to keep it nice and low to the bottom, and then I'll put like a pop-up on that's slightly too buoyant and slowly whittle it down until it nice slowly sinks, giving that push away effect, and a little tiny bit of putty in the middle of the rig just to stop it from looping up. I use the hybrid clips usually. These things have been brilliant. Like I started using them when they come out, and they seem to ditch the lead every time, which is what I want. Like, you know, I don't like to have the lead staying on on a fish. I push the loop through the ring swivel on the clip, and then push the whole rig through the loop like so, and then pull it all down. That's the finished rig, and then all I got to do now is put me a little bit of putty in the middle and a shot underneath, and then put my bait on and whittle it down. I don't generally chuck a rig out without a little bit of putty in the middle. I find it, you know, a little bit hard to get my head around how simple and easy it is to do, to put a little bit of putty on, and the difference it actually makes to your rig, what it looks like on the bottom. I put a little split shot on. I don't like to go really above a size 4, to be honest. Number 1s and that, they look a little bit bulky, and a little bit big. I think if you can keep everything reasonably finesse and that, I think you'll find that it'll work a lot better. Baits I've been using are these fluoro combos from DT, 15 mils of green beast and fresh orange. Stick a little bit of extra flavour on just to boost them up a little bit. As you can see, it's nice and short, tight to the air. And what I'll do now is trim a little bit to make it sort of more or less round, and like slowly trimming off a little bit so that it nice and slowly sinks in the margins. And that'll be ready to chuck out.